The same dude would be more attractive if he was a CEO than if he was a janitor. That's a fact. Same dude, same body, same face, same everything, same fingerprints. But if he's a CEO of a company, he's more attractive to a woman than if he was the dude that cleans the fucking toilets. Why? Because he has more power and he has more status. And there's a reason why that would be valuable to a female on a biological level. We shouldn't have to get that deep. Go look it up, guys. There's a reason why. All of this goes back to biology is my point. All right? And what's best for her offspring. Now, when you look at a man, what is he attracted to in the woman? Real simple. Youth, beauty. That's it. Right? When you're thinking big tits, you're thinking nice ass, you're thinking wide hips, that's just fertility. Those are just visual markers that indicate that she's fertile and she's of age. So youth and beauty, that's it. Real simple, guys, simple. Okay? All right. Now next, what do women want? Well, that's when we get to the resources. They want resources. Okay? What else do they want? They want experiences. Women want to travel. Women want to see this. They want to experience that. They want to know what this is. You know, they want the world, right? They want a genie in a bottle. That's what women want, experiences. And the reason why I'm separating this from the man is because, they want to go do that regardless. That has nothing to do with the guy that they want to have sex with. So when I'm talking about attraction, I'm not talking about relationships. Because I know a lot of you guys either not worried about that, or you would have to get past the sexual marketplace first before you could even get to the relationship marketplace. So experiences are something they're gonna want in their life, all right? But it's not attached to their sexuality. They have no problem letting one guy take them on a cruise and travel around the world and pay for things and buy them nice things and blah, 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 and then have another guy that's gonna tear their back out. They have no problem with that being two separate guys because it has nothing to do with their sexuality. All right, although some guys obviously are using that to get to the woman's sexuality, which is just bartering. All right, the next thing women want is attention. This is why they prioritize their social media and they don't want to give it up for nothing or no one, because that's a source of attention. There you go. It's also how they book all their trips. And the next thing is validation, which also ties into that, right? These points aren't that important. We're talking about the sexual marketplace. Guys, primarily sex. They also want experiences with women. They want good experiences with women. They want to enjoy that, right? And then some men, most men, or at least on a biological level, men want to procreate. So they want children, they want legacy, they want to pass on their DNA. And then of course, men want validation, right? So this is why they're going to want, certain other men to respect them. They're going to want women to value them, to appreciate them, so on and so forth. And ultimately, on some level, as men, we all want power. Now, let's just get on to sex, and then I can move on to rating these dudes, and I'm going to show you some women and why it correlates, right? So now, as far as what women find sexually arousing, now, keep in mind, guys, what you're sexually aroused by, you don't have any choice in the matter. So trying to shame women for only wanting to sleep with the tall guys or only wanting to be with good-looking guys or whatever the hell, it's fucking retarded. Because no woman can sit here and say, you know what? I decided I'm gonna be sexually aroused by guys that are 5'5". Yep. Yeah, because those guys are nice guys. And you know what? Nice guys, they don't make me horny, but I decided from now on, nice guys are gonna turn me on. That's what's gonna do it for me. That's not how it works, dude. Just like you can't say, the only girls that give me their numbers and don't flake on me are ugly girls or fat girls. So you know what? From now on, I'm gonna be attracted to fat girls. It doesn't work, but I do know guys that are genuinely attracted to fat girls. They could be slim, beautiful women that like them. They're like, nah, no, I want that big, thick thing over there. That's what he likes, guys. It is what it is. Now, generally speaking, women want a guy, they're sexually attracted to a guy that has more than them. Now let's talk about the more. More height, more weight, more resources, more status, more experiences, more intelligence, more fitness, more confidence, and more emotional control. Yes, all of these things make the pussy wet. And notice that all of these things need to be more than her. Biology. We look at what guys find sexually attractive, and it's really, really small list. You ready for this, guys? Health, youth, beauty. We're done with that. That's simple. That's simple. That's all it takes for a guy to be like, yo, she's fucking hot. She's healthy, she's young, she's beautiful. Done. I'm in. Simple, guys. Now let's talk about the simplest explanation for this mating request. Dudes, when we're born, we're not making sperm until we pass through puberty. But once we start going through puberty, once we're there, there's 10 to 200 million sperm. I'm gonna say that again. 10 million, all the way up to 200, and in some cases 300 million sperm in every milliliter of semen. I don't know about you guys, but that's a lot of babies. That's a lot of babies swimming around, okay, in your jizz, okay? A lot. When you have a lot of something, it becomes less valuable because you got a lot of it. Now, when you look at females, on the other hand, they're born with 1 to 2 million eggs at birth. And as they age, they lose eggs. By puberty, on average, 300 to 400,000 eggs. Wow, that's a lot less than 1 to 2 million. And then about 100 to 150K on average by the age of 30. Okay? So women just lose eggs as they go on, meaning the eggs are becoming more scarce, hence they're becoming more valuable. Don't be surprised if a woman's standards go up as she ages. See, we act like this is madness, it doesn't make any sense, it's delusional and all that kind of stuff, when I'm pretty sure the scientists don't look at it that way. Because the scientists, they have no emotion in it, they have no dog in the fight, they have no stake in the game. They're just looking at the data and saying, it would make sense that women become more picky as they get older because they have less eggs. So they have to choose their mates even more and more and more and more and more and more and more strictly as they get older, right? So when you hear that, oh, I've had my fun and I've went through my bad boy phase and I went through my whole phase and blah 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 blah, yeah, you can get aggravated by it and get into all of the shaming and she's a hoe and blah 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 blah, and now she wants to finesse a good dude or whatever you want to call it. But I'm just looking at the biology, guys. The biology. Looking at the biology, it would make sense that women start to have a different type of standard as they get older, and it would make sense that women would have a higher standard and threshold and more requirements than men, because obviously they invest more in child rearing than men do. We can knock them up and basically walk away, whereas they're stuck with that baby for 9 months and beyond, right? So all of this shit makes sense on a biological level is what I'm trying to say, guys. It also makes sense that a woman wants a guy with more of all these things because she wants better genetics to incubate. She wants a guy that has more resources than her because she's gonna be pregnant and have to rely on him. Guys, it just makes sense. If they're emotional, of course they'd want a guy with more emotional control, right? If they're super insecure and they're always second guessing themselves and they're indecisive, of course they would want a guy that's confident, stern, understands himself, direct, knows what he wants and has a plan. No shit they would want that. Okay? Women make terrible mistakes when you allow them to. Why wouldn't they want a guy with experience? Women aren't even built to or want to put in the work it takes to build up status. So why wouldn't they want a guy that already acquired more status than them? It makes fucking sense. Before I start rating dudes, I want to look at some pictures of some females. Okay? I'm gonna tell you why right now. I want to go through these pictures of these females, and I want to talk about what is probably obvious or might not be obvious. Okay? So let's look at these images. I'm gonna put some images up on the screen. Let's look at these women. And what these women have in common is that they're average. Okay? This is what's considered average. They range in different sizes, heights, colors, different hair colors, different eye colors. I mean, in that sense, there's variety. But yet they're all still relatively average. And what is the major point that I want to make about the women that I'm showing you is that none of them are extraordinary. None of them have an amazing body. None of them are perfect. None of them are drop dead gorgeous. None of them are without flaws. but they're all fuckable. They all have no problem getting sex at the drop of a dime. Every single one of them. Even the ones that you personally aren't attracted to, because I'm not attracted to a large majority of them, but I know that there are guys that will sleep with them. I know that the average guy will sleep with them. The point that I'm trying to make, guys, is that just being average is enough, okay, for a female to get laid. It's enough. Now, here I want to show you a picture of two extremes. These are women that are extremely thin, extremely skinny, okay? But yet those particular women are considered models. If a guy was extremely skinny, I don't care how handsome his face is or whatever like that, if he was extremely skinny, I'm talking about the extreme, like you couldn't get any skinnier and not be like in risk of dying, he wouldn't be fuckable, guys. Okay? But yet a chick can walk around and pretty much be a clothes hanger, and she could be a model. She can be on the cover of a magazine. Now I want to show you the other extreme, okay? Which is, what do they call them? BBDs or whatever. Like, to me, they're fat women. All right, I was born in the 80s. I grew up in the 90s. That's what we call women that look like this. We call them fat. So I'm not gonna get creative with the language. That's what we call them. Yeah, I get it. Today that's supposed to be offensive and it's supposed to be hate speech and all this other kind of shit. Well, listen, check my passport. All right. Sorry, I'm grandfathered in. I was born prior to this nonsense. We call that fat. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is, I see women that look like this all the time, holding hands with dudes that aren't far from average. They're average. Like, the guys are average. They're not overweight. There's like no extreme about it. When I see fat women, they're usually with guys that are pretty average. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. Mathematically, you mean to tell me the women that are the least healthy, the least attractive, somehow match up and pair up with the guys that are average. So if we're doing a scale from 1 to 10, that means women that are 1s and 2s are holding hands with guys that are 5s and 6s. What the fuck just happened? Exactly. So that brings me on to my next point, which is that as a man, the dating market is a lot easier to accept and to stomach when you accept this one fucking principle, guys. You ready for this? This is the one fucking thing I want you to just nod your head and accept. It's true. It's true. What I'm about to say is a fact. It's true. Women, they match up with men that are higher than them on the rating scale, or even. And that even part is a choice. That's them settling if they date across. Primarily, overwhelmingly, women date up. As a man, you have to accept dating down. Yeah. So a lot of men are having such a difficulty in the dating market because they keep trying to date women that in their mind are on their level or above. Guys will sit here and be trying to talk to beautiful women and then act surprised when they get nowhere. Act surprised when they end up in the friend zone. Act surprised when they get cheated on. Act surprised when they get divorced. Well, why would that surprise you? If this woman is beautiful, she's attractive. Many guys want to sleep with her. And you're surprised that she's not interested in staying with you or getting with you, and you're 2, 3, 4 notches below her on the attractive scale. It's time to make this fucking channel grow. It's time to really start making some progress and helping guys that are serious about getting better results on these topics. It's time to start doing it. Let's get it done. So also a quick shout out to all the guys that participated and completed the 100-day Get Shredded challenge. At some point in time, I'm probably gonna make a little video, or at least a part of a video, kind of going over some of the results with that. A lot of guys were getting really good results. On average, because I was kind of trying to do the math, it was like 40 fucking guys in there. So on average, guys lost 10 pounds. All right, guys, so all the guys that were in there, I know you guys were like communicating with each other, but those guys on average lost about 10 to 15 pounds, which I think is great, but I know could have been a lot better if guys were more disciplined, more consistent, more on it. I know it's hard because those guys are earners, those guys make money, those guys gotta work a lot, blah, blah, blah. I get it, guys. But in all honesty, 10 to 15 pounds in 3 months is great, but you can lose a lot more fat in that time frame. All right, if you're pushing and you're going hard. The clients that I work with one-on-one, they're averaging about 26. I do the math, guys. I do things by 10. So I take 10 of my clients and I take the amount that they lost in the time frame and I divide it by, and I get the average. So on average, in that time frame, guys are losing 26 pounds with me working one-on-one. All right, we all need to be held accountable. So it's necessary, guys. You might think you're disciplined, but you don't know what you're capable of until someone is pushing you. Someone has their heels in your neck. All right, so 25 guys. I'm gonna run through them very quickly, and I'm just gonna rate them from 1 to 10, and probably just give a brief explanation for why they got the score that they got, and maybe a brief explanation of what areas they need to work on to bring their score up. I'm heading out to Mexico because they're having a fitness expo. I got invited. There's gonna be a lot of fitness celebrities there, and I was really impressed at how many big names they got on the roster. And I said to myself, you know what, this is a good opportunity to get out there, get some content, not only just with beautiful women that speak English, but talking to a lot of these fitness models, and these fitness athletes, and getting their take on how much being physically attractive and having a far above average body has changed their sex life and changed dating for them. I think a lot of you guys would benefit from hearing how different their experience with women is than yours. And you gotta understand, I'm coming from not only an athletic background, but for over a decade, like 12 years, I was a male dancer. And it's literally the opposite of what other men experience in the dating market, because guys are chasing women and they're trying to win women over, and the women have the advantage because they get to choose, and the men have to be the ones to outperform and compete against the other men. For us, it was literally the opposite. We were the commodities, we were in the small percentile, and the women were in abundance, having to compete for us. Just to make it simple to understand on mathematical terms, when I first started working at the club, I'm always interested in numbers. So I would always check and see what the numbers were for the night. What did the door do? So I know how many guys I work with. When I started working, there were 22 guys on the list, right? When I first started dancing, my rookie year, there was 22 guys on the list, on the roster, on the lineup. And we each get about 10 to 15 minutes on stage, depending on how good of a performer you are and how high of a demand you are. So it's very competitive. But then I would look at the door and see what the door did, because only women are allowed in. So it's easy to see what the ratio is. So on Friday nights, we would average 250 women. On Saturday nights, we would average 300 women. So I want you guys to think about that for a minute. An environment where there's 22 guys to 250 women, or 22 guys to 300 women. And then you'll understand why they're competing for us. Women love attention, right? No shit. And with all those performances, with all that music, with all that alcohol, with all that dancing, the women are all horny, because that environment brings that out of them, because they're seeing men go on stage and perform, in these fantasy roles. You have guys going up as construction workers, police officers, roles that have power, dominance, authority, and they're doing it with the best bodies, right? So of course the women are all going to be aroused and they're all going to be horny, which means now all these women want a guy. They want one of these guys for themselves. Well, guess what? Each guy only has one dick, right? So each woman now has to elbow and push the girl next to her to try to get to the guy that she likes. Completely different experience. So I figured, let me interview these guys that have these, top 10 bodies, right? They have, their bodies are in the top 10% in the world, because they're literally professionals at competing with their bodies and with their physiques. And it brings and attracts a lot of women. So many women be at these expos because they're on some groupie shit. You look at Chris Bumstead or whatever right now. He's the classic physique champion, bro. Every chick that I see, when I look, they all follow him. You look on Instagram, they all follow him, and it's like, these chicks don't know anything about bodybuilding, but they follow Chris Bumstead. Bulking challenge is coming, guys. Email me. Consultations, email me. Online training, email me. Coaching, email me. All that shit, email me. I'm out of here. Let's keep it authentic. Peace.